Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Everybody Lies, the newest game by Portal Games in their detective investigation system. So, to be fair, for this discussion, we had only done the prologue, but I think that is okay, considering that we have played Detective, we have played Vienna Connection, so this is that, but Batman-themed. And with that being said, I mean, it has a few tweaks to it, to where it's not literally just detective with Batman.
Right.
But if you are familiar with those games, and if you like those games, I could probably definitively say you would most likely like this.
Yeah. Largely the same, except for the comic book
That's
panels.
literally the biggest thing. The biggest difference is the scene deck. Which I think are literally there just for like thematic flair.
Oh yeah, they do nothing but turn a couple of lines into comic frames.
Yeah, which I mean, I think is neat. I think it's a nice addition because one, it ties in kind of the overarching theme together a little bit more, and gives you a visualization. It might actually help them a little bit instead of they don't have to describe as much.
True.
In all the other ones, they do describe quite a bit of what you're doing, who you're talking to, mannerisms, because you need that stuff for the forensics and like to help deduce cases. But here you can just be like, oh hey,
and it's neat.
And it's neat.
Yep.
I think it's cool. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on Everybody Lies?
Cool.
Like this version of Detective specifically, or this case?
This version.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. I
like it?
I think it's cool. I am pretty passive when it comes to DC. I know it was real cool to pick a side back in the day. But
Yeah. Now it's obviously Marvel's better.
they have conceded defeat. I've always been a Marvel girl, but always everyone loves Batman.
Yeah.
Even if he's an asshole.
Well,
Which is probably why this is a Batman theme. First of all, the detective.
Oh,
Second
yeah.
of all, it's probably cheaper than any Marvel property.
That very true, considering that
yeah.
they have to pay Disney now. But this is clearly, the more obvious theme if they were going to go this route, because Batman is supposed to be first and foremost a detective.
Yes.
And he has literally never been that in any of the movies.
He is bad at words.
He is that in all the games, in the Arkham Asylum, Arkham City. I think there were like 4 or 5 total. You do detective work, and I mean that's why I think the new Batman, like with Robert Pattinson, was so good, because it wasn't like Christian Bale's over the top, beat the shit out of everyone, not kill them Batman.
Get his back broken.
Right. It wasn't like that. It was, oh hey, he's been only doing this 2 years, and he relies heavily on the police, and because he's still a vigilante and all that. And you definitely feel that here. I was very misconstrued. I thought you played as Batman.
Yeah.
But it makes sense that you don't. Because then it's like, well, I'm Batman, and who the hell are you guys? Why do I need you? I like the fact that it is other people, and you can go to Batman.
Yeah.
He's like the Sherlock, probably, of everything. So, what do you think?
And an excellent layering of the theme and the storyline on top of the system. Having locations to go to and having mitigations, and if you go back there, you better get everything you want done here.
Yeah.
Because if you go back there, it's going to cost you more.
Right.
But a simple mitigation technique for that.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think that they utilize the tokens a lot more, because in the other ones, you kind of had a pool, and you really just spent them all. It was very hard to get them back.
Yeah.
But in this one, you were always getting investigation clues to spend them to go visit locations. I think that's a nice little touch.
At least in Vienna, weren't there different types of tokens, and that limited?
There were,
your
and
choices?
that limited to like how much information you got from going to a location.
Yeah.
In each iteration of Detective, they've always kind of increased the token usage. The first Detective Modern Crime still use tokens. You can spend this to flip this card and get more information, or spend it to get something else. But I feel like they've utilized it in more interesting ways than the other two, this one in Vienna. I mean, for me personally, I don't give a shit about Batman. Like, I don't like DC. Especially in media, I've just never been into, I think, like, like, I'm not one of those that, like, hates on all the characters, but I think Superman's relatively boring, like, as a character, because it's like, yeah, I mean, he's cool in that he can do literally everything, but he's boring because he can literally do everything.
Right.
Oh, he died. No, he didn't. They just hope him back to life, and then now he's back. I think Batman is... I don't really like Batman himself. I think his villains are the best thing about Batman.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm excited for in the leading up cases. Like, I've never... And I hope they... I mean, they're probably going to use Joker. They're probably going to use Riddler. Like, all the named ones. But I really hope they use some obscure ones. Like, I've never heard of the Dollmaker. That sounds like a really fucked up
Sounds like
character.
a real person.
Right. I mean, it probably is a real person. There's most likely... I guarantee you we've listened to a last podcast thing of someone who has...
Of the Dollmaker.
Sewed people together. I mean, Kat and I are listening to a woman called Catherine Knight who skinned her husband alive. Well, not alive, she killed him, but then skinned him and hung his intact skin as a curtain. And so
she'd always be reminded of him.
Better than using.
she was caught like the next day.
Oh wow!
Like,
That's
she's still
poor.
alive.
That's just poor planning.
No, she really just wanted to kill him. And the police officers who found him, one like has severe PTSD and quit being a police officer because apparently it was so well kept, like, and well done that you could tell it was him.
Oh,
And like that's how disgusting. So the Dollmaker, I was like, oh man, yeah, this feels like a real case. I'm hoping that they don't go super in it, where it's just like unrealistic to follow.
fan pandering.
Yeah. Like it'd be nice if like what the Joker's doing or what the Riddler's doing is still relevant to the cases that you can solve.
They might be ancillary, but not a core
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
Well, this itself was a pretty mundane, normal type of
mafia gangs.
human case. So that bodes well so far.
Yeah. So, and I think it mentions, where was it? I think,
And that's going to be more satisfying for an investigation type
yeah.
than, hey, here's this really nuts person. Where are they going to strike next and stop them?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and once again, it mentioned Falcone. I wouldn't have known who that was if I didn't watch the new movie. I don't know if I can't remember when this was announced and when that movie... I mean, obviously this was announced before that movie came out. So... And they did another one. You haven't played those, but Kat and I did, called Detective Season 1. And it had like 3 different stories, and one of those was very similar to Knives Out.
Oh, okay.
And they even say in like I have a book about their like behind the scenes, and they did say Knives Out. They all went to go watch it and got a lot of inspiration from that. So overall, like the theme doesn't draw me in. But the gameplay is still incredibly engaging. Yeah. Like, and they do a good enough job with the theme that, like, it's not a turn-off for me, but it might be for other people. That would probably be the only reason I would say you might not like this.
But it's not so deep into the lore
that
it really matters.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a draw of a new set of fans to enter this system, and then they go, hey... Here's a Cold War storyline.
Yeah.
That might be interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
This reminds me, and thankfully it's more tastefully done, and it's not just pasting it over a game, but it reminds me of every version of Clue that's ever been released that is themed.
Oh, sure.
That they were just finally like, let's do a Batman one.
Yeah.
I was going to say it'd be really great if they did a Lord of the Rings one, but I was like, that would be hilarious.
That'd be so dumb.
So funny.
And so far, they don't have a Cthulhu one.
They do not.
Even though most Cthulhu stories were investigations.
Technically, there is one. It's not by them. It's called Mythos Tales.
Okay.
And it's more like Sherlock Holmes.
Okay. And it's already excellent.
It's good. Like,
excellent.
The company is no longer in business.
Because it was so excellent.
I have it, but yeah, it's Sherlock Holmes, but Cthulhu. Okay. Yeah, they easily could do it. And I'm glad that they haven't. Like, I love Cthulhu and Lovecraft stories and all that. And Lovecraft himself, he's my favorite. No.
Yeah.
I know his stories
what
and all that.
Guy.
But, yes, this is a breath of fresh air, though, because this is a theme that isn't normally done. Like, you really don't see a lot of Batman. There's the massive Batman game, but it was so poorly executed that I always see it being sold. Because no one buys it because... It has probably the most atrocious rulebook that it's like, it's a couple hours to even learn the game before you even play the 2 hours of game.
It's an ad lib.
It's you mean a Mad Lib?
Was it Mad Lib?
I think it was called Mad. Like when you fill in the
Fill the
blank, like
blanks.
where you need like a noun. Yeah, Mad Lib.
Mad Lib.
But yeah. So the theme. I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about the Cold War. People could be like, I don't fuck about that, so they don't get the Vienna connection.
Right.
So
You choose your favorite theme. And
yeah, and I guess the names of characters that they're bringing in are just as abstract as some whatever mob boss they have in another story.
Yeah.
So if they mention Falco in here, you just know that that's an established lore character.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're into the theme, you're like, oh, cool. But otherwise, you can just treat it as like, okay, Falcone is no different than Williams in whatever other story.
True.
In terms of its like access into the like its the internet part, at least in the prologue, it wasn't really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing it's doing is tracking what you've accomplished.
Yeah.
In some major ways, just so that it has a double check on the outcome,
Right.
or the questions to ask, or something like that.
Yeah, because I know in the detective ones they've had videos. They do the fingerprints and all that, and
Mini
these
puzzles.
yeah, the puzzles. Oh yeah, with Vanna Connection, it was you had like kind of the puzzles. That was pretty cool when they worked.
Yeah.
But
It seemed like it was just a milestone kind of tracker.
yeah, it really just hey, you get a file. Okay.
But it
In the
might
file,
be
you could like click on arrows to like move it, and you could like zoom in. But that was like, okay, maybe if you're playing it on a not a computer, maybe if you're doing it on your phone.
maybe.
They could open it up in the other cases. There's 4 in the game. Guilt, nostalgia, and remorse. So based off these pictures, if I had to guess, it's showing a sewer. That makes me think of Killer Croc. Nostalgia is showing Batman as like he's like angry. I'm not really reading these, but and another guy in a hazmat suit. Hazmat suit could be
Moltar
who?
I don't know.
from Space Ghost.
Oh, I'm like, I have no idea. See, it could be the Joker's laughing gas, or it could be Scarecrow's fear.
Yeah.
I can't really. That would be nice. Like, I would actually like to see some ones that weren't getting so much attention. I think more. I'm just more tired of Joker shit. Like, he's just always brought in that it's like, just stop remaking the Joker. Jared Leto, he already did the best job. Like, you can't beat him. Heath Ledger's the worst Joker. No. But I
Compared
mean,
to Jared Leto, yes. Definitely the wrong take on a person just that crazy.
I know, right? Do you guys have any negatives? Anything I guess any negatives we would have would be negative we have about the other ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like not for this theme specifically. I like that it's not like we said that earlier. It's not heavy-handed, but it's not too thin. Either,
Yeah.
where it's just like, okay, this is obviously just detective. Like they're using key characters.
Yeah.
And they're mentioning people that were like, ooh, that was Harley Quinn.
Right. It doesn't feel pasted on.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good line to walk.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the personal goal deck?
I don't know, I didn't have one.
Yeah, you played the main character. Your personal goal was the case.
Oh, fine.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I honestly wasn't really expecting to look into mine too much, so I wasn't stressed out about it, and we were able to use.
Yeah. Well, it's what's
Well, I
really
kept thinking about things that fit them.
right. I thought in the prologue, I guess it makes sense, but I thought we were gonna get like more cards, but like there's a ton here, so probably you do because you can get these tokens and you can spend these tokens to get more information or to even get a personal goal
Yeah.
card. But what they do and what I really like is they give you, because these are like the side quests, and they give you a way to track those side quests so you actually know that you're going to be asked questions about them later on. Because if you remember with like the Sherlock Holmes games, whenever it's like additional questions and you're like,
There was
I didn't even know that was a thing, or we thought that was the main that was the main story or the main question, and then it's like who's the leader of the Mahigans gang? And you're like, who?
What gang?
Yeah, you're like so lost that the personal goals are like, hey, you're gonna get questions on these, so keep them in mind. And I really like that. I think it's very nice, and also it makes you feel more like a character, which they might have been going for.
Yeah,
Because in all the other ones,
true.
you're just people.
Right.
Hey, we're
just
detectives.
investigators.
Yeah, we're just investigators. Here, it's like I'm actually playing Harvey Bullock. Cat's playing Catwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that is kind of fun.
right, and it probably actually feels a little bit better in this one because you actually, well, I don't know who the hell Harvey Bullock is, but or Vicky Vale or any of them. I only knew Catwoman, but it is pretty neat that you can kind of get a little bit more into it
Yeah.
without drastically changing and making it a role-playing game.
True. Yeah.
Other than that, yeah.
I mean, the map's a little flimsy.
Yeah, I mean, the maps they're all flimsy. Once again, I think this is just pre-order shit. I don't know if these actually are going to come in handy.
Or it's stuff to make you keep playing and find out if they do.
Maybe, yeah, I guess you probably could look through these and see
They
if...
probably do come up in other investigations.
I wonder if this is just like its own story, because as I'm quickly looking through them, they seem to be in like a storyline. But maybe not. I don't know. Typically, when you get newspaper clippings, they're kind of supposed to be relevant to the story or previous stories. But yeah, I mean, final verdict is really, if you like the detective system, you're probably gonna like this.
Unless you really hate Batman.
Yeah, unless the theme does absolutely nothing for you, and yeah, like you have an aversion to Batman,
Yeah.
then at that point you're just hating it, just to hate it.
But even if you don't care about the theme, it's still the same system.
Yeah.
Still the same kind of fun.
Yeah, same game. Just you can be like, I don't really like the theme, but
So,
okay, the
you
game's
gotta
still
really
good.
hate Batman, I think, to let that bother you.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't really have much else to say. Like, it's different enough. So if you're kind of like, but I love these games.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even really care for Batman. I don't like hate him, but I'm just like, whatever. But I'm like, oh, a new detective series game? Hell yeah! Like more cases to never finish. So just add them to the list of never-ending cases. So, yeah, I mean, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It's not quite a 9 because I don't like the theme as much, but
I was gonna give it a 9 because I do not mind the theme.
I don't either. I'm still going to give it an 8, but that's mostly in comparison to other systems that are more in-depth and more rich in their content. I'm thinking particularly the Sherlock Holmes,
yeah.
where you're really kind of a choose-your-own-adventure story, but it's much more literary.
Yeah.
But still, 8, excellent.
Yeah. It's and because I mean the theme is Batman, for me it's harder to get into, like versus the Cold War history or just any other relevant. I don't know. I'm more drawn to the other themes that have been in it, and still, even though this is Batman, it's still fantastical in some way.
Yeah.
Even though the prologue was very good, like it didn't feel fantastical, but it's still like, it's Batman. Like it's still Batman.
Gotcha.
Like, I don't know. Maybe that's my own thing.
Well, and I don't know. Like, I guess I can see what you're saying because it's also just situations that wouldn't happen in real life. Like the city is not overrun with serial killers.
Well, I mean, 70s LA. It was very much so.
That's true.
Are you saying that police don't get robbed?
You're telling me that Skid Row is not a nice place to live?
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, Everybody Lies, 8 out of 10. I'm excited to see what they do with the other cases, but apparently it's supposed to be an overarching story that we will see how that shapes up. You guys got anything else?
No, great.
Cool. All right, well, that's our thoughts on Everybody Lies. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.
Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.